Good morning, guys. Sorry about that little mix-up there. Don't need to restore those. We'll get SPY up. Good morning, everyone. What's going on, Rebo? All right. Get everything all set up. Batch. And there we go. We got all the alerts out. All right, welcome in, guys. What's going on, Steve? How you doing? Umar, how you doing? Nice little recovery prior to open. Yesterday was disgusting. We had a no break day on both ES and SPY, and Q's barely took the low and then did absolutely nothing for the remainder of the day. What's going on, McLaughlin? Top of the morning, Chip. How you doing? What's going on, Dee? El Suprema, how you doing? Good morning. Mahadi, K-Rad. Spring is upon us up here in the northern states. State of Maine. Finally having some decent weather, decent-ish weather. Quite the move overnight on crude oil. It's making 5-point moves like it's fun. This is bringing it all the way back to when we used to have gold and silver moving in our favor. What kind of computer laptop do I use or would recommend? I use my PC's an iBuyPower pre-built, and then I have a Republic of Gamers laptop. I haven't really used my laptop for a while. I've been on my PC mainly. You don't really need anything too complex. My zinc levels are increasing. What's going on? Good morning. Hopefully we can follow yesterday up with a little bit better of a market delivery. If we go to our data for this week, we go to Market Watch. We don't have anything significant today. We had durable goods at 8:30 this morning, 12:35 speaker, 3 o'clock consumer credit. That one's really not that significant. And then we have another speaker at 5:50. I think we could be waiting for CPI this week. CPI comes out on Friday. So that could be our catalyst for why prices moving the way it is. Yesterday was awful. My goodness, yesterday was terrible. What's going on, Mark? Good morning. So I did go long. I don't know if Justin's in here yet. I'll give it a minute for him to join, or I'll just repeat it better yet. So I did close my position yesterday, and I had to get off the charts. Closed my position for -20 after being in it for about 45 minutes. It was up 12 points on 1 point at ES, and then it kind of just fizzled out a little bit. We had news come out with Trump, obviously speaking. That made us miss the IB low by quite literally 1 cent on SPY. If you see the top left of your screen where it says OHLC right up here where my mouse is hovering, our low L was 655.52 for SPY. The low that we made on the 1 o'clock candle was 655.53. So we missed the IB low break by 1 point. If we go over to ES as well, ES also missed it by 1 point. So 6618 versus 6617 for the low. This was the same on MES and ES, and then we ended up printing a no break day yesterday. So had I gone long and held it for the entirety of that session, the entire New York session from where our entry was, we would have ended up getting out right at the bell, right at 3:45. And that would have been maybe 12 points. I think it was about 11, 10-ish. So we would have been in a about 5-hour trade for $60 on one MES. That's what would have happened had I not removed the limit sell. It did almost go up to the IB high. It missed it by 3 points. So it could have, should have, would have. This hit all the way at 5 o'clock. So most brokers have your positions force closed by then. Not really anything that you're going to be able to hold. Had I left the orders in, it would have been a win. Would have been a little bit of a sweat, but that's all in hindsight, obviously. So still somewhat valid for the IB from yesterday. If we go over to Edgeful, once this loads, computer's being a little slow this morning. The Wi-Fi is being a little slow. So we get into Edgeful here. If we go to the IB for SPY, and we scroll down to the table, we can see that yesterday was a no break. So that's the first time in 0406. The last no break on SPY was February 11th. So it looks like our average for a no break, it's only happened 2.4% of the time. That's how rare of an occurrence yesterday was. 2.4% of the time, SPY will not break the range made on the first hour. It did, and this is why I also secure my positions prior to looking into the IB and having the IB take the full TP. I also have to send, we will have Dan Cook on stream with us today. I'll send him a link to StreamYard here soon. Let me DM him real quick. How do I invite people here? There we go. All right, all set. We'll have Dan Cook later on in the stream. $12 an hour in some places ain't half bad. During Globex IB ever come in? Does Globex IB ever come in, or does it just hit stop loss? We're not given any entry criteria. Last night ended up being, we're going over to Globex for last night. So I took the trade on gold, funny enough, and I ended up getting whacked for it. Let me find it. There we go. So there's our Globex IB for last night. We had the high form first, then the low. So those 4 candles. Last night, we unfortunately just never got an entry. I had my short limit set at 24,341. It ended up going up to 24,333. So it missed it by 8 points. And then it took the full IB low at 8 o'clock. I know the time frame on the bottom, it said 1900. for whatever reason, this isn't scaling to daylight savings time. So futures are an hour behind. QQQ is fine. This one doesn't need any adjusting. So this is reading what time it should be, which is 9:15 right now. This one's an hour behind. So even though it says 1700, this one is the correct Globex IB. So no entry on this last night. And then I have no idea what happened with gold. It was looking really, really good. Came all the way back up. We had our low form first, the high form second. I was in this with 1 MGC. So entry was 4685, 10-point TP, 10-point stop loss. And then out of nowhere last night, we had a 50-point drop and then immediately recovered. If I go to the 1 minute, you can see a little bit better. Very unlucky recently with the IB. So we had, and it was less than a minute actually. We went from 4681 all the way down to 4653. So not 50 points, sorry, 30 points. And then it came all the way back up and just about took the IB high directly after. So that kind of stunk last night. Not really anything we can do about that. And then zooming out on gold, you can see hasn't really done anything since. It's been up, down, up, down, up, down. Ping-ponging. MCL was the one that also had a pretty significant move last night. This went from 111 to 116. So that 5-point move correlates to $10,000 on 1 mini, or $5,000. I always get confused with the tick value. What's going on, Barreto? How you doing? Good morning, Maz. Good morning, Ro. For today, we don't really have too much for confluence to the upside or downside. Now, we are technically opening inside of previous day's range. It's basically at the low. The stream's also in there, yes. Skumar. What's going on, Pip T? How you doing? Walk. What's going on? Is there any way Tradeovate to copy trade different prop firms at the same time? Unfortunately not, no. I just have 2 different browsers open at the same time. That's my workaround for it. I'm fine with skipping between browsers. Also, I think I finally got my Lucid accounts. I saw an email from them earlier this morning, but I didn't read it all the way through. So let me see if I actually... I've been waiting for these for 3.5 weeks now. This Friday will be 4 weeks of waiting for these freaking accounts. And then we officially start. I don't have them yet still. Come on. Hopefully I'll get them some point during the day today. Shucks. What's going on, Ez? How you doing? Yeah, Walk, I just have 2 different tabs open. You can use TradeC for Tradeify and Lucid if you wanted to. It's not entirely trusted yet from what I've seen. They have issues with delays on the charts. They have issues with the charts freezing, re-updating, and then your position is all of a sudden down X amount. So use it to your own discretion. Just know that it's still technically a beta program. A lot of people like it. A lot of people don't. I haven't used it personally yet, but I have seen a fair few reviews and videos of people saying that it freezes every 5 to 15 minutes, depending on volume coming in. So just go in your top tabs. I just switch between 2 if I'm copy trading 2 at the same time. The other reason is TradeC doesn't have, because it's a beta program, they don't have protection, you could say. Not sure what word I'm going for there. They don't have protection in case of an outage on the platform. So if TradeC goes down, because it is still beta, the same thing happened on Project X. When it was in beta, if the platform went down, you don't get compensated by the prop firm. Whereas if Trade-Evade goes down, which it rarely does, when Trade-Evade goes down, they typically X out trading for that day. They say all positions are wiped, all red positions are wiped, so you don't have to worry about anything. Have people stopped using Replicanto? I think they had another pretty bad outage yesterday. I think it was like up to $100 compensation you get or something for Trade-Evade. No, they don't. You don't get any monetary compensation. They just wipe all your red positions. That's what Tradeify and Lucid have always done. They always say if you've had an issue with your account, if you have an issue with an outage, or you're missing X amount of profits for the day because we slipped from 9:14 to 9:50 in the morning ET, all red positions between that time frame will get wiped. Please don't trade for the remainder of the day. It's probably for private accounts. Trade-Evade's also really good for it. It happens very rarely, but for personal funded accounts, that's the ones that you get compensated on, up to $100. Most of the time, you should just X out trading when the platform's down. For prop firms, since it is technically sim environment, sim trading, there's not a whole lot you can do for that. I don't think a lot of people use. I mean, you're foolish if you're trading on one firm like Apex. I've seen several people do this. One of them's a decent size, actually. Copy trading 17 to 20 Apex accounts, and you're using a trade copier as opposed to just copy trading it on Apex via Trade-Evade. It's so funny to me when I see screenshots of trade copiers and they're all like my funded futures accounts, or they're all Apex, or they're all Lucid, and there's like one Tradeify account on there. There's no reason for you to be copy trading outside of what that broker supplies. Do I take any of their strategies along with the IB? We haven't really had the opportunity to. So I really like taking inside bars and outside days. Thursday, I could have gone long right at open. I did miss that gap that we had the previous day in London gap. Yesterday, we had absolutely nothing to trade. We did have an outside day on Qs, but we had an inside day on SPY. They both ended up fulfilling. Same exact thing for today. Previous day's high, previous day's low. Also happens to be the IB high and IB low. And then our London range is right there. First time in a while that I've seen a London range that's larger than previous day's range, funny enough. So we do have an inside bar stat. I don't really have any examples from recent days because it hasn't. The past 3 weeks have been really difficult for how I trade. I haven't gotten a payout. I've been on a little dry spell. I had a payout qualified, ended up going for more, and then ended up screwing that payout. We did have some continuation last week, but I just wasn't on the right side of it. It's really difficult during this global conflict, constant headlines. But if we have, and I'm going to draw it up here, for example, because it's not going to work out today. I really like using the IB into inside bars. So let's say this is our previous day's range, and price does something like this. So it goes low into the high. This is how the previous day's closed. Consolidated, we broke. Oops, that's the wrong direction, actually. Got to draw the IB high correctly. So there's our break on the IB for previous day. We just had price do something like this, consolidate for the remainder of the day. This is now where we opened the following session. So what I want to see is which direction is the IB going to signal, so we can take that price to either previous day's high, or we can take it to previous day's low. In this case, if it was a bullish IB, I would take it to previous day's high. If it was a bearish IB, I'd take it to previous day's low. Or, like we had a long while ago, when we form a massive previous day's range and price opens pretty much right in the middle. Even when you go and break the IB, so let's say we go and break an IB high at 613, I will try to play a continuation after the IB gets a retracement. So 25, 50% of the IB. I'll look for a continuation or a trend continuation all the way up to the previous day's high for that inside day stat, sorry. Because 86 to 87, Q's is 86, 83 now actually. Yesterday we didn't break that high. So 87%, about 85% for the inside bars. When price opens within previous day's range, that's your odd, or that's your chance of going to previous day's high or previous day's low to break it. What's going on, Lonnie? How you doing? So that's what I'm going to be looking for today. Unfortunately, or that's what I would typically be looking for. I misspoke there. Unfortunately, we are riding right at previous day's low, so it's very likely that right at open, all we do is take a really quick wick to the downside and do nothing else from there. So that will give us our previous day's low tap, which will fulfill the inside bar stat, which says if price opens within previous day's range, it has these. There we go. I missed it right here. Open within previous day's range, 87.67% chance it breaks out of yesterday's range or previous day's range. So those are our odds that we're going to take that low real quick at open. Probably the same on SPY. Unfortunately, when that does happen, if we go over to buy breakout, when previous day's high or previous day's low is taken, you only have an 8% chance that the opposing direction is also taken. So if we go and take previous day's low today, right at open, we only have an 8% chance that price goes back up to 590. So that would mean that we maintain a bearish bias for the remainder of the day and do nothing else from there. Let me mute real quick so I can type this out. That's a really good stat to see. What's going on, Saeed? How you doing? Is it going to be choppy again today? Well, we have it's a pretty important opening wick that we're going to put in. If we do not, it's very close, which I don't like. We have to hold pretty much right where we are right now if we want to see upside today. If not, and obviously there's an 1 in 12 chance that this happens. It's an 8% chance. So it's not completely off the table. But if we wick down and take 584.68, we only have an 8% chance that price goes up to 590.64. Same exact thing on SPY as well. If price has a wick to previous day's low, you only have an 8% chance of also taking previous day's high. That's with the inside bar by breakout report. We only have a 12% chance that price stays within the high and low. So we should be, it's slightly favored towards the upside, so we might not get a wick to the downside right at open. We have 30 seconds to tell. We don't have any news, we don't have any catalyst. So whatever we get should be a nice organic move. If we want upside, we need to make sure that we hold where we are right now. If we break this low, 655, 53, 52, I'm going to put a horizontal line there so everyone can clearly see it. If we break that level, 655, 52, we will likely stay bearish for the rest of the day. Although we don't really have a strong confluence to the upside or downside because yesterday was so choppy. If we get a directional move to the upside right now and don't take previous day's low, and we go and take previous day's high, then we'll obviously be bullish for the day. It only has $1 to work with. That zone to the downside is only $1 on both SPY and Qs. So it needs to hold a pretty bullish move directly into the open. If not, then it's going to be a pretty bearish day. Should be anyway. Also, if you guys did not see on my Twitter, I am running a giveaway for 20 Lucid accounts this month. 5 accounts this week and 5 accounts each week after that. And then at the end of the month, depending on how much you guys use my code, I'll also have a pretty sizable giveaway to go and run through. What's going on, Kyle? How you doing? Sounds like you're describing me. I forgot what I was chatting about 15. Wicked right to London 50 on SPY, not quite on Qs. Actually, didn't even draw it in on Qs, so we did get London 50. Never mind. So we got 50 cents that needs to hold. If not, then we're going to maintain bullish price action for the day. And that is based on the inside bars by breakout report. Touch previous day's high and low. This has happened 6 times out of the past 73 days. If we go to 2 years, let's see, it shouldn't change very much. Goes up to 10%. So it's a 2% increase over 2 years. Pretty good data point. Almost, there we go. So it took previous day's low on Qs. That means SPY should also go down and follow. We only have a 10% chance that price will also take, so 28 out of 263 times that price will also go and hit previous day's high, which is very unlikely. So that's how I go about viewing the chart once we take these types of levels. This level, this white line up here, is a, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt, 10.6 as opposed to 8. So we have a 10.6% chance that we go and hit that level, 590.64. This is the inside bar report, and then go into the sub report, and it's for the inside bar by breakout. So inside bars open within yesterday's range. This tells you you have an 88% chance that price will break out of previous day's range. So it's a very high stat that when price opens, which is about to go and take that low right now, it's a very high stat that when price opens within that range, you are not going to continue to the upside or downside once one of those levels is taken. That's with the breakout report. So sub report by breakout. I don't use the buy size or previous day size or weekday. I don't really care too much about those. I'm more focused on these 2 odds right here. So 12% chance we stay within that range. And when we do break the range, we only have an 8% chance that price will continue to the other side of that range. Very unlikely that we have a continuation to the upside today. And if we do, then we go and invalidate an 8% stat. Good morning, Zanuck. How you doing? One Eye Blue, what's going on? Could the previous day's range report give the same info? Previous day's range? I don't believe so. Let's see. No, this is a different metric. This one gives you more of a bias. The inside bar range gives you, which we could also completely invalidate what I just said. We could have bullish price action, but not go and hit previous day's high. Considering that we don't have a draw to the upside, though, it's less likely that we have a continuation up and go and hit that level. So since we've taken these lows already, price should continue, probably going to London low. Previous day's range gives you more of what's the odds that you have a green day versus red day to follow. It is broken already on SPY. I think this one, it may use extended session. No, it just uses 9:30 to 4. I just use the inside bar report. This one I'm not too familiar with, so I'm sorry if I didn't answer the question correctly or what you were looking for. Now that we've taken that level, as I said, I'm probably going to be looking for previous day's low to get closed below and then look for 582.96, so another $2 to the downside. But this kind of initiates the trend long before the initial balance is formed. Now, make sure that you're not putting your entire bias on this today, because this is saying that we will not go up to previous day's high. We could very easily continue this trend and barely miss previous day's high and then just kind of pitter out for the rest of the day. So it's not indicating that we're not going to the upside. It's just showing that we should not be pushing all the way up to previous day's high, which it still can. It's not a 0% chance, but it's very unlikely that we do. James is not on stream today. No, he'll be on stream tomorrow with Andre. And then later today, we have Dan Cook joining us. If you guys remember the discussion from last week, a lot of you guys were interested in how he enters at 25% with his negative RR on the IB. So he'll be joining us at 10 o'clock in the next 23 minutes. I think I got him the link to join the stream, hopefully. Let's see. I'll send him another one. Sorry about the typewriter. I'll create another one for him. So far, it's looking like it's probably going to be another chop day. Again, we can still have a bullish IB as long as it doesn't go and take previous day's high. It's just more likely that we stay down here for the rest of the day, remainder of the day. Gold is bearish to start as well. It's kind of weird that they're both lining up together. What's going on, Freedom Trader? How you doing? Gat fill is in play, though. That is true. That is true. So we could go and sweep that gat fill and then come down. Did we take it on SPY is the question. No, we did not. The gap fill by size, if it's not in the first bracket, it doesn't. The second bracket is, it's still very likely that it goes and fills the gap, but it's not nearly as likely as the, like we have on Qs, it's only a 50-50 chance. Qs actually was in the third bracket, so this is only a 37% chance. And SPY for gap fill by size is a 67% chance. So it's likely, but it's not super significant. Qs it's actually less favored that we go and fill the gap. So this has a short bias, and that should be maintained as well. Just keep that in mind. I think it's going to play down to London low. I don't think that we're going to hold up too much. Gap fill by size, I'm only putting a lot of emphasis on it when price opens within that first bracket, because those ones it happens very quick when it is gapped down or gapped up that much as well. But if you're like right on the cusp, if you're at 0.18, those ones I'll have a bullish bias or a bearish bias. But for today, that previous day's low was a lot more significant. What gap are you referring to? It is the New York to New York gap. So if we go to the just regular trading session, regular trading hours, this is the gap fill that's in question. It's a pretty significant gap to the downside. I don't think it's going to fill. It only has a 37% chance that it does. We don't have any draw to the upside. We don't have any catalyst. We don't have anything that should push us up in terms of levels that are drawing us up. So should maintain slight bearish price action. IB is also signaling bearish to start. Gold isn't really doing anything. We could honestly just have another chop day though. Taking some nasty losses lately, just can't get a read. Honestly, me either. I've been stinking. Maybe it was a true thing. Maybe too many people talked about the IB, and now it's done. Doesn't work anymore. Giveaways tomorrow. No, it's not a real thing. The IB is just on a little bit of a bad spell, a little bit of a rough patch right now. I think we should go and take London low. Although we did have a nice rejection at London 50. It's not a significant draw to London low. That's not like a pre-market range statistic. I've been having a few of you guys convincing me, so I'll put this on. Decent rejection off of VWAP, dare I say. I think it's going to draw down to that low from pre-market and then pitter out from there. Probably have like a negative 1% day. All these sim traders ruined it. Exactly. The market makers want all the money that you guys are putting into sim accounts, so they nerf the IB. But in all honesty, it's just, if you go to the data on the IB, I was talking about this last week with Andre. Over a year, so we're going to review the IB for a year's worth of data. Go to the IB by rejection. Has on a Tuesday, which Tuesdays historically were the best days to play the IB. Now, as of the past month to 6 months, they aren't. This is your data. So 28 occurrences on a Tuesday. Better yet, you know what? I'm going to go and do it on all weekdays. Bear with me here. So all weekdays, our data should be about 70%, 71 and 76. There's still 22% and 21% of the time or occurrences you're going to go and break the wrong direction that you're anticipating. For the actual stats, there were 134 that formed the low first, 103 broke the high first, so that's 103 wins, 29 losses. We don't know when those 29 losses are going to take place. If you guys were around for the past couple of weeks, it's been rough. The IB hasn't really been playing out that well. It's been consecutive losses for several weeks in a row. not week after week, but you'll have like a Monday, Tuesday lose. You'll win on a Wednesday. Thursday will be no trade. Friday will be a loss or a win. We don't know when these 29 instances are going to happen. If you were around 2 months ago, the IB was hitting not only for New York session, but for Globex as well. And it was, I think we went on a 13 win streak for the IB. And one of the days we didn't take because the IB was on such a crazy win streak for Mondays or Tuesdays that we just avoided the trade entirely. Those stats from 2 months ago, I view it as being reverse to the mean right now, or a reversion to the mean. Meaning that because we won 13, 14, 15, however many in a row it was, we now need to lose a few trades in a row for that to catch up to what the stats are telling us. Does that make sense? The same thing kind of happens in life, I think. If this doesn't make any sense, please cut me off in chat. Or if this does make perfect sense, drop a 1. Has anyone been on a streak of like life is going great, everything's fine, nothing seems bad, nothing could go wrong, and then all of a sudden you go on either a week or a couple days where everything sucks, or you have something bad happen, you have an emergency happen, life is going great, you're on a high, whether it's for payouts for prop firms, you're having a great relationship build, or everything's going right. You found $100 bill on the sidewalk, and then a couple weeks later or a couple months later, you go through a rough patch where everything just, you're getting hit one thing after another. You pop your tire, you get a flat tire on the way to work, you drop your ice cream when you're eating it. Trump happened. Yeah, Trump's taking away all the IB gains, that bastard. No, but it's genuinely a real thing, I think. Ups and downs, hills and valleys. Been through that at work many times. So for the IB, if you just look at the past month or the past couple of days or the past couple of weeks, it's been really bad. There's no question about that. However, if we go back to when we started trading it in like January, February, when it was doing really, really, really well, I'll just go back to a random day. We'll go to January 5th. Or February 5th, sorry. Let's go to February 5th. So this time frame, as I just said, the IB was winning. I want to say I had like a 16 win streak on it, if not more. So the IB was just day after day after day after day after day. We were winning consistently. Everything was fine. We had the top number of views in the stream. I think we were sitting at like on average 300 people, maybe even 400 that were watching the stream, waiting for the IB trade to set up. We'd take the IB trade. It would be like a 5-minute, 6-minute trade. We'd enter at 10:30. We'd get out at 10:36. Day's done there. We'd make $400. Exactly, Dare. So out of 26 weeks for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, split down the middle. So you have 52 weeks worth of trading. Let's say half of those weeks make the high first, half of those weeks make the low first. Also, we're making a nice move towards London low right now. Broke and closed below previous day's low, as I was looking for. And then we get a nice continuation to the downside. Anyway, as I was covering there, I lost my train of thought. Let's say half of the weeks that we trade, they make the low first. Half the weeks that we trade, they make the high first. We don't know when these losses are going to happen. We could go 17 weeks in a row where every single Monday makes the low first and then breaks the high. And then for the remaining 9 weeks, we lose all those in a row. So these 29, it would be ideal for a 75% win rate, 76% win rate, for this to have about 1.5 losses a week. Rounded it down to about 1 loss a week. That would be, in a perfect world, how these stats would play out. We'd win 4 days out of the week, we'd lose 1. That's not the case. Some weeks we're going to win all 5. And as I've been saying, that was for the past 2 months. February and March, the first 2 weeks of March anyway, we won weeks in a row. And the days that did lose, we were lucky enough to have SPY and Qs not line up, or we just didn't take the trade because we noticed something else with the chart. Now, fast forward to the past month, we're not as lucky. Yesterday was a loss on Qs, ended up being a no trade or no signal on SPY because it was a no break. We stayed within the range all day. Thursday last week was a win. Wednesday last week was a win. Tuesday last week was a loss. Monday last week was a win. It just depends on when we get our entries or when we don't get our entries. So there's not really much that we can do about that. Do you think the volatile situation and the big ranges in the last few weeks impacted the IB? Absolutely. It didn't impact the IB. It impacted all my trading models. With selling options, I mean, it's been a lot longer than the past couple of weeks, but because of Trump's volatility and the way he carries himself with the market, that's correlated to me having significant drawdown in the option selling portfolio. Stats for Globex only, is it the same? Yes. Globex is, if we go to MNQ, Globex is basically the same as the IB. So we go to the daily time frame. Globex IB is at 6. Wednesdays, we don't take it. If the high forms first, this one's actually on a really bad losing streak right now. If the low forms first, it's about the same, 71%. If the high forms first, it says 55. That is mainly because Wednesday drags it down significantly. We don't trade the IB on Wednesdays, which would have been last night. Tonight, actually, sorry, not last night. And this is why. So when the high forms first, this drags all the data down. We do not trade the Globex IB on a Wednesday or Tuesday night going into Wednesday. And this is why it only has a 37% chance that it goes and breaks the correct direction, I should say. DJ said the law of polarity, there's an opposite effect for everything. Do I trade other strategies when the IB doesn't work? No strategy hopping. What does the IB report history look like if there was a comparable time of the year in the past, like now with news uncertainty? Unfortunately, it doesn't filter that way. So I can't go and find just the news. You could go and filter it to a couple of months from like 2024, where we had this continued price action. Let me zoom out to the 24-hour. Like you could go to April of last year, February and April last year. You can go to that time frame and see how the IB fared. If the market's in a bear cycle as well, this is pretty important to note. If the market is trending to the downside, it's in a bear cycle, a lot of strategies start failing because there's a slight increased favor for when price is moving to the upside. A lot more people enjoy buying price up as opposed to buying price to the downside, selling price to the downside. So almost every model, every trading model will have a higher win rate when you have a bullish bias with that model as opposed to a bearish bias. Because we're in a slight, I'm not going to call it a bear market. We're down like 4% from all-time highs, 6% maybe. Actually, let's measure it. All-time highs to where we currently are is just below 6%, 5.9. A bear market's 20% or more. Not really all that significant here. April of last year, February to April, That would give you a good read, I suppose. You could go July to October. It's been a little difficult because of the consolidation that we've been seeing. This is now we're finally starting to trend in one direction, but this has been 6 months, almost 7 months of sideways price action. So it's almost coming to a point where we can kind of call ourselves good. Hey, we're out of this bad situation. Everything should be fine now. We don't have to worry about Trump. We don't have to worry about uncertainty in the market. Everything should be corrected relatively soon. Pretty good read into the open, though. Very happy with that. We did correctly call downside almost to London low. We didn't quite get there. We should have a continuation. Depends on how long this takes for the IB to actually settle, but this is a pretty small range right now. Ooh, update from Alpha Futures. They have increased the size on GC, MGC, Silver, and SIL. Decreased size on MCL and CL. It's funny how a lot of these firms are protecting themselves from bearish action now, or increased volatility, I should say, not bearish action. We are hitting at 24.2 for a psych level. That's also lined up with previous day's low, so we should have another rejection shortly. Really liking downside. I'll ask Dan about this when he hops in live, but I'm a believer of the same thing. Taking a day off every once in a while is fine. I may not trade today. We may just look at the IB, especially because of how bad Tuesdays have been. We go to the IB by rejection for Tuesday. Still going to validate it. Still going to take a look at it. Still going to theorize which direction the IB should break to. But if we go to Tuesdays, look how low the stats have gotten for, especially when the high form first. We only have a 64% chance of going to break the low. So Tuesdays have been relatively poor for price action, for the IB breaking the right direction. What do you call the London low differs from the ICT definition? Pre-market low. There's our rejection at 24.2. Should go to London low now, pre-market low. Gold's also getting bought back down, or sold back off, I should say. Pretty nice continuation. We did have, it looks like we had some slippage on M&Q. M&Q, the low is all the way down at this equivalent on Qs, which is a little weird. A little odd. Dan will be on shortly. He'll be joining us from 10 to 11 today. What are the different time zones that are high probability? You can manipulate the IB to whatever time zone, whatever time frame you want. Trading, it looks like it's lagging a little bit today. Maybe that's just me. There he is. You can go ahead and add yourself to the stage whenever you're ready. I've got the habit of marking all three London, Asia, and overnight. London I just refer to as pre-market range. Wish I could erase ICT from the mind of everyone. You and me both. Yes, Zox, you can make it's kind of funny. You can make every single hour an IB. So you can go on to Edgeful and you can manipulate the time frame in the bottom left. You can go to session. You can create your custom session. A lot of people, like one of them in live right now, Pipti, he's been using it for the lunchbox, which I think is 12 to 1 or 12:30 to 1:30. All right, we'll get you on stage. Let me add you up now. There you are, Dan. There's London Low as well. Very nice. Flushing through it now.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Can everyone else hear him? Should be all set.
When I first entered, I'm sure I heard you say, he can enter himself into the stage whenever he wants, and I'm there like, I don't know, I'm not sure how to do it.
Yeah, you click on your, if you do come on next time, you click on your webcam, or if you hover over it, it should say remove now, and then you can also click add to stage.
Okay. I've learned something new today.
More you know.
How you doing anyway? How's your week been?
It's been rather shit. Didn't have a trade yesterday. I had a break even. The past couple of weeks have been pretty rough for the IB, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
But we will.
It's March was tricky, especially Tuesdays.
Through.
You know, Tuesdays have just like
Tuesdays
sucked for me.
Sucks.
So of course I'm on the stream today for a Tuesday, but yeah, I mean it's just been the worst day for me for not just March, but the year, I think, in general so far, to be fair.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I was just talking about this right before you got on. We went, and I'm sure you should have relatively similar stats because you trade the IB almost the same way as I do. From February to like the second week of March, we were on a disgusting win streak with the IB. I'm not sure how many. I think I had 16 days in a row. I wanted 13 to 16, somewhere in that range. Those losses are now being made up for, I believe. I think we're getting.
What were the dates you said? What dates did you say?
Like the beginning of February to March, the second week of March.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah. This my February was like ridiculous, like 13, 14 payouts in February. Yep. And I think a large part of that was that insane run that the IB was on. It was just crazy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're right. Probabilities, they always level themselves out in the end, don't they?
Yep. So right now we have to correct that win streak that we were on. Yeah. So what I'm on
a 3-day streak at the moment, so it's not too bad. I'm on a bit of a roll at the moment.
I would honestly, not taking trades like that, I would count as a successful move. Because I saw your tweet yesterday that you haven't taken a trade since last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday, I think it was, yeah. So,
and that's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But you know what though? I wasn't doing enough of that in March, I would say. Mm-hmm. I think in March I wasn't picky enough. And that was something I reflected on. You know, I looked at my stats for March compared to February. I traded double the amount of days compared to February. Like February, I didn't trade like many days at all. Mm-hmm. Some of it was work related. Some of it was just purely there wasn't a setup. But regardless of that, like the amount of trades I took was half in February, and I made ridiculous amount of profit compared to March, which was just green for the month, just about break even. So yeah, it says
very
it all.
Good. Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it? The less you do, the more you get.
Less is always more.
Kind of the same ideology with micros as well. You don't need to trade minis to get up to that insane profit per month. Trading micros is okay.
I had a good giggle. Was it yesterday or the day before when I saw that guy copying your X post? That was brilliant.
Andre was giving me
crap. He did it for the next 12. He did it for the next 12 hours after that. The next 12 hours, he was copying all of your posts as in like he's seen you've caught him and he's just leaned into it.
I've been caught. I might as well continue with it.
Yeah.
So the first question I wanted to ask you, because we had a lot of people that were interested in this on last Tuesday stream, funny enough. How do you go about, they're very interested in your negative RR with your 25% entry. So if you wanted to pull up your screen,
sure.
Should be a plus sign with a box in the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, let me just get that set up. Hold on a second. Okay, so let me just bear with me.
It's so funny. You should be in here watching the stream. Yeah, you may learn a thing or two.
Okay, I think I've got it set up. Okay.
There we go.
You see my screen?
Yep. I'll add that to the stage. There you go. Take over.
Yeah, so these are my stats for 2026 so far. But just to go through, like, let me show them first of all, like an A+ setup for me, basically. And I'll go through the negative R side as well and everything. So this was from Tuesday, March the 31st. And if I just let the screenshots load here. So basically, this was Tuesday 31st of March, which was last week. Yeah, last week, right?
Yep.
And what I'm looking for is I'm just looking for that retracement to the IB25. So that's that green line going all the way across. That's what I'm looking for ultimately. And once I get that retracement to the IB25, I'm then looking for a pop to the upside. So I'm looking for that IB high to be taken,
Yep.
But I also, when I'm entering off the IB25, that's where the VWAPs are very important for me as well, because I'm looking to be the right side of both the VWAPs. So the yellow line you see there is the New York VWAP anchored to the beginning of the New York session. And then the green line at the bottom there, that's the one that's anchored to the session VWAP. So it's to the future. So it's 6 o'clock, and that's the sessions VWAP. So I'm looking to be kind of both, the right side of both of those. And if I've got that, then that's sort of an A+ sort of setup for me. You can see with the VWAP, we only had one close below the VWAP for the entire New York session up to that point. So it's telling me I'm looking for longs there. The lower the IB is formed first, IB high is formed second. So, the statistics according to Edgebull are strongly in favor that we're going to break it. But often the reason why I'm entering at 1020 here at the IB25 is because so many times I won't get that retracement back lower and it'll just pop a little bit and kind of wick or just break the IB high there. So I'm just looking to capture that little bit of a move there. And after that entry, I'm also looking at YM, NES as well. So this was at the time of the entry on that trade as well. So on YM, which is this one here, we're above the VWAPs and we've got the IB low forming first, IB high forming second, so that's good. And then ES looks basically the same as NQ, which is great. Right side of the VWAPs again, IB low forming first, IB high forming second. So this is like, everything is in alignment for me. All the indices are looking very, very similar. We're the right side of all the VWAPs. The IBs are very bullish, so I'm looking for longs there. And then eventually manage to capture that move to the upside. And this is where my negative R comes in, because I don't need the full 1R for me. I'm just looking for that Edgebull statistic to play out. Where we get the wick of the IB high there. And then basically with this, I'm looking to sort of trail it once I've sort of got my base hit sort of dollar amount. So something like $200, I'll start trailing the stop.
Okay.
Because I'm just playing the prop firm game. Most of the prop firms, their minimum days are $150, $200. So I'm basically looking to capture that base hit, and I'll trail it once it starts getting there by about 10, 15 points behind it. And if it comes back and takes me out, then I walk away with a base hit for the day. But if it keeps going, then I can capture that upside as well, which is great. So some days I'll get, $200 profit across 20 accounts. Other days I'll get $350, $400 across 20 accounts. It all depends what the market gives me. So I haven't really got a target in mind. Of course, I'm aiming in the direction of that gray line at the top, that IB high, but really it's just a direction. It's not a target for me.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll take out my profits even before it's taken out that IB high, because a lot of the time
I did the same thing too with that.
Oh, gee, okay. Because look at this here. If you did you trade ES last Tuesday? Did you trade?
I did.
If I remember correctly,
Sure
yeah.
did.
So I mean, look at that. So if, those who traded NQ that day and were looking for that IB high, you were super happy. But if you're ES that day and you're looking for the IB high and you're getting in around about that VWAP or the IB 25, which is a green line, and your target or take profit is at that IB high, you would be massively disappointed because it just absolutely tanked on you. I mean, for me, if that does happen to me, and that does happen sometimes I won't get my full base hit dollar amount. I remember like there was one trade back in February. I think I was like $5 or $6 off my base hit, and it just tanked on me, and it went through the VWAPs and it completely took me out. And it's one of those where I have to look at that and I have to say to myself, well, that's a good trade.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
You know what I mean?
We don't have to talk about that one.
Yeah. So for me, that's my sort of A+, really.
And you're putting your stop loss at the 75% of the IB.
Yeah, I've experimented with different ways of doing it, but I just found stop loss at the IB 50, it's too tight, just get wigged out a lot. Stop loss at the IB low it's a bit too wide if I'm going in at the IB 25 for me, because I'm just looking to scalp 20, 30 points on NQ, even less maybe sometimes. So that's where the IB levels it helps me stay repeatable, consistent, disciplined. It's quite systematic. So I would say I'm quite a systematic sort of trader. But if we look at the trade, not the trade, but the no trade yesterday, this is just where my discretion sort of comes into it, because yesterday it's just choppy. If I see the VWAPs doing, and I talked about this on X yesterday, if I see the VWAPs doing that, just going flat like that, for me, I'm just more likely just to stay out of it, because for me, it's just like we're going above the VWAP, we're going below, we're going above, we're going below the IB. Yes, the lowest form first, the highest form second. So you could argue, yes, okay, once we break this IB 25, yeah, let's get long and let's go for the IB high. But for me, whenever I do that, it feels like a forced trade. And even if I win that kind of trade, I don't get the same sort of satisfaction as I would from a trending trade, which I showed you just before. It's sort of like, I was lucky. And I'd rather just stay out of that. I'd rather just be flat. I don't mind going through to the end of the week having only taken 2 or 3 trades. It doesn't bother me, because I just know from experience by now that forcing trades, taking too many trades, it's just it will affect that P&L curve, and it's more likely to put you on tilt as well.
Absolutely, avoiding the losses. So it looks like for today we actually may get your entry model prior to mine. I don't think we'll get back up to the 50% of the IB, but we did just hit 24,000 on NQ. And bring my screen back up here. So we did just hit 24,000 on NQ with a decent bounce off that level. Pretty strong psych level. Tuesdays, as I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, Tuesdays for the IB breaking when the high forms first is a 64% chance. So it's very low compared to the rest of the week. And that's because we've been on such a nasty losing streak with it. Last week, for instance, high form first, high broke first, high form first, high broke first, high form first, high broke first. So this is 3 consecutive Tuesdays in a row that we've lost when the high has formed first. So for today, it may be smart not to size in too much, or maybe just watch it. To answer a couple questions here as well. Sorry to cut you off there.
It's all right.
So I'll relay this over to you. We have a question regarding, Justin, you asked me the same thing yesterday regarding relying on the numbers versus being able to sit out. So is there anything for you? You mentioned yesterday with VWAP being sideways, not really having much for directional price, knowing that you've traded those days before. How do you know those days are going to happen prior to them happening? Pretty difficult question.
I
know,
don't.
but
It's one of those. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll look at pre-market sometimes. So sometimes I say, if I can just share my screen again, let me just
go for it. You can leave it up, and I can just swap between them.
Yeah, I'll just leave it up. Yeah. So, is it showing?
Yep, you're up.
Okay. So, yesterday for me, like I'll look at pre-market to begin with, which is basically this bit just here, right? And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, that session VWAP since 6 o'clock, we've had bounce off here. We've had a bounce off, here.
Mm-hmm.
We've had another bounce here. That's been respected for the entire session. So I went into yesterday's session thinking to myself, okay, I'm looking for longs here today because we've not had any break below it. So I will always try and trade the right side of that VWAP. But yes, if you were trading the first, half an hour of the New York session, you probably would have got a nice trade. But my entry is, my model, my strategy, I stay out of the first half an hour. And then after that, it just chops sideways. So once we got to like here and we got to, let's just rewind this back to let's say 10, 15. So, just before I'm thinking about entering here, for me, although we've had that bullish sort of price action there for me, now that we're in the New York session, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I had the idea of going long, but we broke above the, sorry, I lost my chart. We broke above the VWAP, we broke below it, we're now breaking back above it again. So for me, it's like, oh, who's in control here at the moment? I can't see it. And it's just very choppy. And then the VWAP for me, it's just starting to go sideways. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're waiting for big news tomorrow, or what is today now, with Trump and his big announcement. Or maybe it could be a bit choppy today. Today is Monday as well. Do I really want to be trying and entering into choppy price action on a Monday? Maybe not. And it was a good call at the end because it did just chop. And chop and chop and chop and chop and chop. It just chopped city for the whole session. So it's one of those where it could have, I could have been wrong yesterday and it could have hit my IB 25 level and gone up to the IB high and I would have missed out on a winning trade. But like I said just before, I'd rather miss out on that move rather than get stuck in this chop, knowing when I saw that VWAP at 10.15 that it's a bit sideways and thinking to myself, probably, should have stayed out of it. And then I get into it and then I lose. Yeah, you're asking for trouble, aren't you? So to answer that question, I don't know. I'm just reacting.
Just a little bit of a human intervention with it. So
for sure.
Great question right now as well from Kratz. We are at the IB 25. I don't think we're getting all the way up to the 50 today, so I probably won't get my entry at that 50. Do you front run the IB at all, or do you wait right for that 10:30 close?
Yeah. So I'll front run this.
Okay. So what's the earliest that you've entered?
10:20. I don't really enter before. So 10:20 is sort of when I will sort of do it. I will not go before that, just because I just want to see it just shake out a little bit. And it may mean on some days that I do actually just miss the move lower because I think it was last Thursday. It literally was it. If I pull up Thursday, it was, look at this. So this was, what time is this? This is 10:30. It was coming back here. This is too early for me to enter at 10:10. It nearly hit my level, didn't, and just kept going. So I just had to see it go without me and be absolutely okay with that, which I was, absolutely fine with it.
And to add in as well,
miss the move if needs be. Yeah, because
if you were to enter at 10:10,
if I tried entering here and it then broke on me and came lower and I'm going against my system, it would just hurt massively. So
if you tried taking the entry at 10:10, that IB high on that Thursday, that IB high was significantly lower when that new high was. So you're looking for an entry at 23,900, and then it goes and makes a new high. So that's something that I emphasize a lot Today, it may be a little okay to front run a little early because of the size of the IB. We are down 1.5% at the moment. Kind of the same thing with gold too. We go over to GLD. This one you could front run right now. It's at IB 25. Not that likely that we have a continuation up. I mean, gold's down percent. When gold's trending this hard in one direction, very unlikely that it's probably going to go in reverse on itself. So you could take it. The earlier you enter, the higher risk is, because if you enter at 10:10, Trump comes out and tweets something at 10:25, new IB high gets taken prior to you actually being invalidated on the trade.
Yeah, for sure.
So we are coming up to, we're actually almost at 10:20, and you could see a perfect example of your entry here.
Could be, if I can get it up in time. Right, so create limit order. Now, the thing is, I do risk quite high, but I will cut it if it's going above here. So if it's going out like around about here, then I'll cut it. So here we go. So I'll do a limit order now. If we get that move to the IB25, we'll look for it to pop lower here. So let's see if it does it.
So for everyone watching in the Discord stream, he is putting his entry at 581.55 on Qs, which should have just hit.
Yeah, it's hit. Win. And now we wait.
And then your stop loss is at the 75, which is at 585.23, and TP at the low.
Yeah.
Do you put any added...
Oh, go on.
Do you put any added emphasis on like the fact that we just bounced right off 24,000, or... As I mentioned earlier as well, for Tuesdays have been rather difficult for the IB. So will you size down for those recently, or do you still go in same position size?
No, I'm still going. Normal sort of size for the Tuesday. It's just something to be aware of for me for now. It's because it was rough in March. Like, I think if I had a bit more data for that going forward, because my back testing, it's quite funny. In my back testing for my strategy, Tuesday is actually one of the better days in 2025, which is really interesting. So it's one of those where recently. Yeah. So if it's like 1 month, and if March has been bad, if it's bad in April as well on the Tuesday IB, that's when I will think, okay, there's a little bit more data now. Maybe I do need to be sizing down, a little bit. So yeah, we'll see here now, because we're getting that move higher. I don't like to stick in the trades forever. For me, that's a big part of negative R for me, is that you've got to be the best loser in the room. You've got to be willing to cut it if it's going to, go against you aggressively. So if this does this very aggressively and closes around about here, I'll look to get out of it.
Gotcha.
Cut it for a smaller loss, because I'm not willing to take the full stop. The stop for me is it's an emergency break.
Okay.
It's if a Trump spoke and it just went, whoa, then that's when
Trump starts to
it gets me out, for a big loss, but it gets me out regardless, Yep.
Yeah, great lesson there. Make sure you guys are not taking trades without a stop loss open on your chart.
For sure.
May have spoke too soon. We might actually get that 50% entry. Those are the reason that I take the entries at the 50% is because that's the only way that I can get a sound 1-to-1 risk reward. And especially knowing that the IB, I meant to ask you this earlier as well. The IB very few times does go above 75%. And then still, we had a great example last week. Let's see if I can find it real quick. So Wednesday last week, March 25th, or 2 weeks ago, this was like 90% of the way to breaking the IB. Almost broke the IB high and then came all the way down and took the IB low. So this one technically would have been a win. For your model, I don't know if you entered because of how high it closed on the IB. I didn't enter this one because I thought for sure it was going to go and break the high. Obviously, it did not. Hindsight. What's going on, Andre? Do you take the trades after your stop loss hit at the 75 because the IB is technically still valid, or you just walk on for the day?
No, I walk on for the day. So like this now, this for me at the moment is okay still, because we're still below the New York view up. So for me, what price does and how it reacts around about this view up level is super, super important for me. Because we've not had a close above the New York VWAP for the entire session yet. So it's one of those where if the candle I enter is the first candle where we close above the New York VWAP and then we start moving higher again, it's one of those where I just have to take the loss on the chin and just think, well, I was the right side of the VWAPs. We got a clean IB25. The VWAPs are curving lower. You know, stocks are either flat or red. The edgeful screener says red. Bears are in control. So for me, like, all the things are pointing downwards. So it's one of those trades today where if I lose it, I won't be too upset. The only thing I suppose, as you said, is the Tuesday statistic, because it's not worked well the Tuesday so far. So
stunk.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll see here. That's a strong bullish candle, though. I'm not loving that at the moment.
That is a pretty strong.
Not what my best trades look like.
It's almost at the 50, so it's almost at my entry criteria as well.
Will you take it? Are you taking it today, or are you thinking?
I'm on the edge of sitting out for a Tuesday and just kind of reassuring that it does work. Or, I mean, it is almost at the entry criteria for today as well. I don't really like sizing in when the IB is as large as it is right now. So even on MES, you're going to be risking $150 per micro right now. M&Q with an entry at the 50 is also, I believe it's like 120 points maybe. Let's see. 150 down to so it's 170 points, just about 165 from that entry at the midpoint, which is $330 for a single micro, which is a little too large for me to want to participate in. I'll still watch it. Maybe one MES for $150. It's looking pretty good now for us. And gold actually just got a crazy reversal all the way back up too.
That's a beautiful bounce off the IB50 there on MES at the moment.
Rejection at IB50. Let's see.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's literally wicked it beautifully.
So my first thought going into today, I don't know if you use inside bars at all.
Yeah.
I opened the stream, so we go back to the 15-minute. With us barely opening over that inside bar, previous day's low, if we took it, which we did, and we go back over to Edgeful Stats, let me pull my screen up real quick. We had an 83% chance on Qs of breaking previous day's high or low, which we did right at open. So if we go into the buy breakout report after that, this tells us that once previous day's high or low is taken, we only have a 9% chance of also going to the opposing direction. So I started the stream off with a bearish bias. If we took the low, which we did, we only have, and I gave it the benefit of the doubt for the upside, we only have a 10% chance. That's tested over 2 years. This one's over 6 months. We only have a 10% chance that price goes up and hits that previous day's high. So we don't have any draws to the upside, but we do have a bearish bias. We have a lot of downside targets. We have the opening week range that we formed as well. Mondays form the high. Tuesday typically goes and forms the opposing direction. And then that gives us the IB for the weekly time frame. So not a good chance we have a reversal based on that stat. And then also tagging in the IB by rejection, although it's for a Tuesday, which is pretty rough. Very good chance that we go and continue to that low because we have screener pointing to the downside. That's bearish. Inside bar is bearish. All the way back below the 25 now. Good to see. Just about below the 25. And then we also had a perfect entry model on SPY right there for the 50. So we both got what we wanted today.
At the moment. I mean, I was looking as well at, I'm always looking on another screen at YMNES, and I'm looking to see how they're responding to the VWAPs in particular, you know. And if I see, because YM was breaking above, if I can just get up maybe. YM here was breaking above its VWAP. So for me, that's not a good sign. But then I'm looking at ES, And actually it's okay, not bad so far. We've gone to the VWAP, we've tested it, we've reacted. Usually price does something around about that VWAP. It did here, it's starting to do here a bit. So as long as we're, the right side of the VWAPs on at least 2 of those 3 indices, then I'm happy at the moment. If we start breaking above the VWAP on ES and YM, maybe a sign I need to be getting out of it, maybe.
Gotcha. Still intact right now. The IB also hasn't even closed. We got another 30 seconds on that. And then that is valid to the downside. This one, with the size of the range compared to yesterday, we may stay in it for a pretty significant amount of the session. The only added in confluences that I sometimes use in terms of sizing in 1 micro, or do I trade it on ES, or do I trade it on M&Q, is when seeing psychological levels hit like we just did for 24,000. That one spooks me out a little bit because I usually take support bounces off. Like last week, I took a bounce off 23,000. I've also, I mean, just Tuesdays in general, I've struggled a little bit with getting really behind those. Andre also just added in previous day's range report after price breaks previous day's low. So if we're taking a look at that previous day's range report, this is telling us when previous day's high is broken, we have a 52% chance. Sorry, I'm reading it wrong here. Okay, so when it's a breakdown or a break up, these are your odds that the day closes red or closes green. So very similar to the opening candle continuation. So we have a 63% chance, because previous day's low was closed below or broken, that we close red today. And Pipti, that's the one you mentioned earlier today as well, yes. I'll go ahead and pull your screen right back up. Hopefully I didn't convince you to get into a trade today on a Tuesday if you didn't want to. That wasn't my intention.
No, not at all.
So is this something you would have taken off the stream anyway? This
is something I would take. I'm looking at the VWAPs, they're curving lower. I like the look of the IB as well. This is one I would take. I think with the Tuesday, I think it's going to be one I monitor closely in April, for sure. But no, this would be a trade. Like I said to you before, if this ends up blowing through the New York VWAP and closing higher, then I'll look at the trade and go, take away the Tuesday side. I'll look at it from the confluences I use and go, yeah, that was my trade. Needed to be in it.
Gotcha.
It's important to be in it when it presents. So
we've been on the right side of the bias all day. Just got to continue that to the downside now.
Yeah. We're the right side of the New York VWAP. So as long as we're the right side of that New York VWAP, I'm happy with it at the moment.
Beautiful. See what gold's doing.
And this is why, though, I love the VWAP in general. It's exactly why I love it. It just helps me, gives me confidence that I am on the right side of my trade.
Yeah, you guys are almost convincing me to add it back on. Very close. So now what do we do that we're just waiting? Do you sit here and watch the chart? Do you get up and walk around? Do you play chess, or do you play a video game while you're doing it? Teach a class?
I'm watching it mainly because I'm scalping. So for me, it's just a case of just watching it. Sometimes I'll just I'll send an email or something like that, or just go on X even. Maybe I shouldn't go on X doing a trade, but sometimes it just stops me overthinking the trade too much. But other than that, at the moment, there's nothing to do here at the moment for me.
Exactly.
Like we're not the wrong side of the New York VWAP yet, and we're not in any sort of profit yet. Once if we start getting in profit and start getting towards my base hit sort of dollar amount, that's when I'll start taking action and start trailing.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, but other than that, it's very chill. That's what I like about the way I trade. It's very chilled and relaxed. I know my levels. I know where I'm going to enter. I know where my stop is. I know the direction I'm aiming for. So it's just less decisions for me. Like I have found the more experience I've got, sort of the less, the more I'm sort of taking out of strategies, and the amount of decisions I'm needing to make less and less and less, and that's just massively been so important, I think. Yeah.
Oh, we might get our entry at the 50. Almost got there. Wick to it, and it's coming back down. I am tempted by it, definitely. I usually, so when I enter the trade, I usually go and do something else aside from just sit here and watch it, monitor it.
Oh, do you? Oh, that's
I'm not a fan, especially I've been talking myself out of a lot of positions recently just because of the kind of rough patch the IB's been in, or how difficult it is to read what the market's doing. And then you have Trump come out and tweet and versus everything that you had for a bias.
Yeah.
So what I should have done this morning was I should have put a little more emphasis behind shorts with that inside bar stat, knowing that we didn't have a draw to the upside, which I somewhat did. Now that we're getting a continuation on the IB, this is just further validating that we do have a pretty strong short bias for today. And then along with that, I don't touch gold at all. I prefer not to trade gold if I can. I have no interest in trying to catch the volatility that MCL is producing. So I'd stay away from the volatility. And then obviously there's not much we can do when Trump brings the volatility into the market.
Do you trade just MES then? Are you just focused on, are you a one asset kind of guy?
I trade whichever one is a little weaker. So for today, I also trade which one has a better entry model. For today, SPY would probably have been my entry. Obviously, I'm not in it at the moment, but that one's the one that hit the 50. Qs did not. So it's as simple as just me going over and taking SPY. I also, as I just mentioned, I take the trades based on the risk and my risk parameters. So I want to risk about 150 per trade, sometimes 200. Obviously, I can't do that today when MNQ has the size of the range that does. So I will go and risk one MES as opposed to one MNQ. These are all just, it's not very complex thinking that goes behind it. It's just, okay, I can't risk this much. I'm going to go and risk this instead.
Yeah. Makes sense. But you're just a perfect example though of how you can do such good work with one micro, with these. I know you're a big advocate of the 25K accounts, and why wouldn't you be when you're risking $150 per trade? You're going to have to lose a hell of a lot of those trades to blow a 25K account, aren't you?
Yep, sure are.
If you manage your risk, don't tilt, don't get emotional when you take a loss. Like, you're
the hardest thing to do.
You're going to win some.
Not continue to trade after you take a loss.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I only take one trade a day. For me, it's one trade and done. For me as well, the New York session for me is the evening. Like, I'm at the end of my day here. The last thing I want to be doing after a long day
where are you
is sitting on the charts into. I'm in the UAE. I'm in Abu Dhabi.
Gotcha.
Man, this is for me, it's just kind of, I don't want to be on the charts till 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. my time.
I don't think anyone would.
That would be just, no. But that would be my reality. If I took a trade, say if I took a loss today, which I may do so if it pops above this New York VWAP. If I stay on the charts past 11 a.m. New York time and continue looking for trades, I'm going to be on the charts until, 8, 9, 10 p.m. potentially. It's just,
I've been
miserable for me.
Slowly looking on your camera. When you jumped in the stream, it was pretty light out. That's a window behind you, right? Not going crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's a window.
pretty bright, and now it's dusk there for you. So I was chuckling a little bit to myself. I was on a segment with Prop for a Match yesterday, and they said they're doing a 24-hour stream where they're going to try to trade for 24 hours.
Yeah, I know.
They're obviously doing it for entertainment purposes. If you're a normal person, don't do that. Don't try to trading more. You said it as soon as you jumped in the stream earlier. You made more in February with half the amount of trades that you took in March.
Yep.
So you don't need to take more trades. 1 to 2 a day is fine. The IB, I will only take additional trades on the IB if we have, obviously not the case for today, but say we had previous day's low at like 576.90 and that inside bar stat was still intact. I would take shorts after the IB broke to that continuation. But once the IB is done, I always bring up these stats, and I'll steal the screen from you again. So I always go over to the IB by levels, and we bring up the IB by rejection, or IB by levels. I already said it. These are our odds that we have a continuation when the IB is the size, especially like what we have today. This is a 1% IB. We are 579 up to 587, so it's a little bit over 1%, actually, like 1.2. When the IB is 0.7 to 1.5%, we only have a 7% chance that price will continue to the downside and go and hit half a standard deviation, which if you have Edgeful, you can just pull up those IB by level stats. 576, we only have a half, not even a, what am I saying? We only have a 7% chance that price will go to half a standard deviation down at that level. There's no point in trying to get a little greedy with the IB and try to predict that price is going to go to that level when it only happens 1 out of 14 times. So once the IB is broken, take your profit for the day, take your loss for the day, move on to tomorrow, because the IB does win on average like 3 to 4 days a week. 3.5 days a week is how often it should win. And that's just the IB as is. Anything else you go and add in is just added confluence. So if you're adding VWAP on top of that, if you're adding SPY, like you do the same thing with YM, SPY, Qs, they all need to line up. If one of them's not on, probably not going to be taking the trade. Or better yet, you do exactly what Dan did. Don't take a trade for the past 3 days.
That's what I love about the IB, though. It keeps you very sort of disciplined with your trading window, like the time that you trade. Do you know what I mean? Like you know when your day is done. You know when your day begins. You know when your day is done. If you're on the charts at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. in the afternoon, or for power hour, whatever. I mean, you're trading just a completely different strategy, then, aren't you?
Yeah.
But if you're just an IB trader, it's beautiful. You know when to get off the desk. You're done for the day. Come back tomorrow, go again, regardless of whether you win, lose, or draw.
So we got a pretty interesting comment here from Braden. He said, "It doesn't really matter what happens or what changes. Your trades are sold to a market maker, and he uses them for liquidity to fill their bigger positions." First off, this was disproved by Peter. What's his name? Wall Street Einstein. He talked about this on
Schuffman?
Yeah, Peter Schuffman.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
First off, if you think that our data is getting sold to market makers, you're the same too. You're trading on a prop account right now, right?
Yeah.
We're all trading on sim accounts. Our data is not getting sold to the market makers that are trading thousands and thousands of NQ contracts right now. We're in, like, this isn't a dig at all. I trade micro, so I'm a big fan that you're into MNQ right now. This billionaire in Wall Street does not give a shit that we have 2 micros open on a sim account. Maybe copy trade over 5 accounts. So we have one singular mini open. We are not liquidity for anyone. We are trading the same way that high schoolers do. So there's no way that they are getting our data and manipulating that against us. There's no one big enough to have started trading the IB because we made it popular that is saying, okay, we're going to start using the IB against them now. We're really going to get their sim profits, and we're going to make money against Lucid and Top Step and Tradeify and Apex and Alpha. We get another question.
Like we are in sim world, aren't we? Though it's like it's like the equivalent of playing Fortnite and thinking you're in the real world, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like this is just sim world. It's not real, is it?
Sims.
Yeah, for sure.
So 2 questions for you now. Actually 3. So KMW said, "Is Dan originally from the UK?"
Correct. I'm from Wales.
Wales, there you go.
From Wales. Yeah, Wales. North Wales, though. Anyone who knows Wales or Welsh accents will know that there's like a Welsh accent that's really, really strong, but that's people from like South Wales. Like they're just super, super strong accents. For me, like there's not much of an accent in North Wales, so like I don't have a super strong Welsh accent, but certainly a British accent for sure.
We got another question. Are you affiliated with Lucid?
No.
Okay, I'll take this one then. Yes, my code does whatever the best sale they have on right now, that code will get you that sale. So it is code Zinc for Lucid. Those are the ones that I use. I should have those live accounts sometime during today. They told me Wednesday at the latest. I've been waiting freaking 4 weeks for them now.
Have you still not got them?
I still haven't gotten them. Wow.
Wow.
So I had to have been.
How long is that then?
March 13th to today. So 3.5 weeks just about. And that has been, wow. I had to have been one of the longest transitions alive that they've ever had. Like everyone else I've talked to, they've gotten their account within like 2 weeks or a week. They moved me to their old legacy account. I was supposed to be under the new one that they have 5 accounts that you copy trade. So they moved me to a live account, deleted the live account, and I've been in a waiting period since. So maybe that's my good luck charm too. Since I lost those accounts, I haven't been getting too many payouts. We got another question from David. Dan, do you sit out when there's divergence?
Sometimes, yeah. That's why I do like to look at YM and ES, but particularly ES. You know, I think I do look at YM, but if there's divergence between ES and NQ, I will sit out sometimes. But when we say divergence, it depends what you're talking about, though. Because if you're talking about the IBs, then I'll also look at the VWAPs as well.
I think what he's asking.
So I'll look at where we are.
I do the same thing. If SPY is indicating that we should go and break the IB high, Qs is indicating we should break the IB low, I won't take a trade during that period.
Yeah. I'd probably stay out as well. If it got to like 10.25, something like that, and it looks like one is going to break the high, one's going to break the low, I'd stay out probably.
We had another comment say, that's what you think until you catch the market makers watching your stream. They may be watching the stream. They might be. This is disgusting.
Oh,
what is this price action right now? And it's not, gold's not doing anything fancy either. This is just up, down, left, sideways.
Yeah, but this is one of those situations now where, as we come to 11 a.m. New York time, if we're still popping sideways, I may even just cut it.
Yeah,
you know
it looks like
I'll just cut it.
These are kind of like just FU wicks to the upside, and we should honestly go and continue to that low because there's not a lot of validation behind them.
Like you said, though, the IB size is just huge today.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to go and break it.
It's just, the chances that it could just chop sideways for ages. But still like it at the moment, though. You know, we've got a beautiful bounce off the yellow line, the New York view up there. That's nice. We've whipped it again just now. So haven't been in profit for much of this trade yet, so that's where you really need to keep your cool and keep your head. But you know, it's like I said at the very beginning. If I lose this today, I won't be massively upset.
It is what it is.
Were sort of pointing me in the direction. It's my strategy, my edge. I know it very, very well by now. Take the loss. I have memories, you know, in was it like September, October 2025? Like I was just a bit more susceptible back then to just tilting and just to taking a loss, then clicking buttons, taking more trades. Just like my inner monster would just come out. That's why I just my one trade a day rule for me is so important for me. It just it protects me from
it does help a
that
lot.
inner monster. Yeah.
So we got another question from Pip T. He said, do you ever scale into trades? For example, you're a few points away from breaking the IB and add another micro or two.
No, because I'm already sized in enough for me. Like this is a big enough size for me already that I'm already in.
Very good.
So for me, just adding more risk to this is not necessary, because I don't need a bigger winning day today. I don't need to catch, you know, bigger dollar amounts. For me, focus always base hit every single day. And if I get to capture more because it may tank lower and I can trail this up, brilliant. But I don't need to catch any big moves. I definitely don't want to scale in, because I find when I scale in and add positions in, that the heart rate starts speeding up, because then I've gone over my
it's not comfortable
threshold. Yeah, it's not comfortable for me. So this is comfortable for me now, you know.
Yep.
So,
and if we do, this is about 100 points from the 25, which is insane. I mean, we're just over the 25. It's still going to be a 100-point trade.
Yeah, I mean, how many points is it to from the IB 25 to the IB low? 78 points.
Pretty big.
Yeah. Do you quick question for you with pop accounts? Do you copy trade all of your pop accounts, or do you like copy trade like groups of them?
I try to diversify a little bit with the groups. So I will, for Tradeify, for example, I'll trade Globex with them. And then I'll try, if I profit with that, maybe I'll trade them the following day. If not, I will go in and try to add a couple bucks to those accounts. If not, I'll go and trade on Lucid for the New York session, and then I'll look for a little bit more profit on those. Okay. I try to limit having all the accounts exposed to, because great example from the past couple of weeks, I would have probably blown all my accounts if I was trading Globex, New York IB, trends, whatever it might have been that I usually trade. So I diversify them up a little bit and try not to have everything going at the same time.
Yeah, makes sense. Especially if you're taking, multiple trades, multiple sessions. Yeah, yep. Get it. Yeah. The thing is, as well, is with the 25Ks that you're trading, what is it? Is it a $1,000 profit target or $2,000? What's the profit target?
So it's for the account. It is. Let me go to. So Tradeify is $1,500 to pass it, and then you have to make $1,500 to get $1,000 payout on those. Also, the IB's looking really nice right now. Still got 50 points to go too. So the Lucid Pros, you need $1,250 to pass. You can fund it the same day, and then you can also, those are a little tricky with the payout. You have to get a $2,000 buffer, and then you can take $1,000 out. Yeah. The buffer you have to maintain is $1,000. Okay. So as long as you're continuously building on top of that buffer and not withdrawing below it, your balance is going to be $1,000 for the drawdown. And then if you profit on that first trade, it goes up. So it's not too much to worry about.
It's interesting. It's interesting because you and me, we trade very similarly, but in terms of the type of accounts we purchase, you and me are actually like the polar opposites to each other. Because I
have the 150Ks.
No. I prefer the straight to funded accounts. Gotcha. I'm all about those. So I will spend more on straight to funded accounts than I want to spend on evals. That doesn't mean I don't have accounts that are not evals, because I've got top step accounts. Those are evaluations. And those are XFA, so they're funded accounts. And I've also got a couple of Tradeify daily accounts as well, because I like to have a mix. But really, what do I prefer? I prefer the straight to funded accounts more, which is quite interesting, the difference we have there.
I used to use the straight to funded accounts. I ended up blowing a lot more money than I care to admit with those. Just because I started trading them. Yeah, they're 3 times as much as any other account that you go and get. But I mean, for those accounts, you have to really know what you're doing. It's not an account that you want to go and buy for a beginner, because if you do, you're not going to, first off, you're not going to be in a good position to continuously churn those accounts with them being 3 times as much. I mean, if you add 5 accounts to copy trade, $1,500 versus trying it with evals, and you're going to be spending a third that amount. So I see a lot of people that will get a payout or two, and they'll be like, I'm too good for trading these accounts. I'm going to go and skip that process, and I'm going to go right to straight to funded. And then they're still in kind of the learning phase.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you there. I think if you're someone who's never taken a payout before, straight to funded is not. You shouldn't go for that because they are more expensive. Like, how much is it for Lucid 25K eval?
So they're about the same for the 25Ks. I don't think they might have a 25. Let me go check real quick. So the straight to fundeds, I know for Lucid, are 3 times as much as any other account variation.
Yeah.
The 25K pros are 87. I want to say 81 to 87 in that range, depending on the sale they have. Tradeify, I believe, is 65 right now, 64, 65. And then the only other ones I've used is Top One, but I know like Tradeify, you can go and get a 25K growth for 65 to 69. It's rounded up to $70. The 25K straight to funded, you're going to be paying like 210 to 250.
Yeah. No, like it's such a low entry cost, isn't it, to learn how to trade with some, not real money, because it's some money, isn't it? But your investment in that account is still real money, isn't it? But to pay £65 to gain some skin in the game, trade 1 micro, create a strategy system you can trust, and have to lose 10 trades in a row or 15 trades in a row to blow the account. I mean, what a fantastic way to learn.
Yeah.
If you can be disciplined enough to do it.
You're paying so much money for it. Not worth it.
Yeah. No.
The IB is goated so far, but this is with the size of the range, is kind of a lull.
Yeah. But where we at on ES at the moment? Where's ES?
It's getting down there. SPY's a little bit stronger
now, isn't it?
What was that?
It's on the IB25 now. ES, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting down there. Or to pass and get told you don't get a payout. Apex is the only one that I've done that to.
Yeah, you did so well with those Apex payouts. That was insane. How much did you make again from Apex?
I got 30K out from them, and then when I went to request the second one, they ended up banning me for saying I had spread false information online.
Ah, did they? I didn't know about that.
They did. They eval banned me, and then they said I requested the second payout. They made me wait like 13 days, 14 days. And then their CEO responded to a post about me on Twitter, and said he's actually banned and he had his accounts closed. That's how I found out.
Oh, wow. So you found out on social media before they actually emailed you?
Yeah, they emailed me like momentarily after. Maybe they sent me one beforehand and I didn't see it. But yeah, that's how I went about finding out that I was no longer trading with Apex. Kind of funny, but
it's a badge of honor, mate. It's a badge of honor.
For days like today, would you trail your stop loss or just wait for full TP?
For me?
Yeah, go for it.
I never wait for full TP. So you know what? that buy limit there at the bottom, don't even need that really. In reality, don't even need that. You can actually get rid of that, because just for me, I'm looking to trail
here we go.
as soon as we start getting towards that IB low. As soon as we start getting $200 in profit, I'll start trailing.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. We've had to be patient. The New York VWAP looked after me so far.
It did.
It's hugged me tight and said, it's all right. Don't panic. Keep your head.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now we'll start.
We are 13 points away.
So I'm trailing now. So I don't need the IB low.
Very good.
So we'll lock in there. So we'll see how it goes here.
Let's see if we can get a break just before that 11 o'clock, just before the stream ends. 20 points.
And that's where people may say, why am I not waiting for the IB low? Surely hold out, wait for that. And yeah, agreed. Could do, but I don't need it. I've got what I want.
Gotcha. I do the same thing. I would be fine securing right now too.
Yeah. But this is where this trade today is just like perfect example of why I just love the VWAP with the IB.
Go and wick right to it right now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes the IB low. Oh, there we go.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
IB low taken. So that should be full TP. Are you looking for it to continue?
Yeah, I'll see if it wants to come back down a little bit more. Let's trail it just a little bit more here.
Full TP hit on the IB.
I'll never wait for the full TP for me at the bottom. Full TP. It depends if you trade, right? One to one, I'd be down here with
exactly. Yeah.
With the price being so choppy today, I don't think it's going to come. I can see it coming back into the IB and chopping around.
Very good.
We're nearly out.
Gold's actually coming all the way back down too. All right, take a look at that. That is signaling a break to the downside because the low was formed second.
As ES broke its? Let's have a look.
ES, not yet.
Not yet. Interesting.
So you got a little bit more downside, probably.
Okay.
What is going on out there?
That's interesting.
Oh, the roosters are fighting. My wife's trying to separate them. That's pretty funny. That'll be fine.
Would love this. Just come on, keep going. Give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more.
I am almost always out at full TP for the IB low. I don't try getting any more. Now, Dan's a little bit different. Did you end up getting out right there?
Yep, done. Out.
Very good. So you could take a little bit more because M and Q and SPY, they're lined up. M and Q took it. SPY hasn't. You could go for like another 5 to 10 points, but it's all ifs, then, and buts.
But this is one of those where
there you go. SPY took it
because it could keep going lower. But you are never going to capture the whole move, are you?
Nope.
You know,
absolutely not.
So you always got to be prepared to leave something on the table. I'm happy with that, though. Tuesday came through.
Tuesday did come through, finally.
Yeah, finally. Beautiful trade in the end. We had to sit through a bit of drawdown for a while. How long were we in drawdown for? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, about half an hour.
Very good
sitting
trade.
And chilling, so yeah.
Finally a Tuesday win. All right, guys, that brings it to 11. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the segment with Dan. We'll look to have him back on again. I thought that was great. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the time.
No,
Dan.
Appreciate it, mate. Cheers for the invite. It was it's great, especially considering you trade very similar to me. You see things very, very much the same. So it's been a great stream. So cheers for having me, mate.
Yeah, no problem. All right, that will do it for the stream, guys. We'll go ahead and close off there. Beautiful W for the IB, finally on a Tuesday. Make sure you guys give some love to Dan. And I will catch you later. See you tomorrow with Andre and James.
See you guys.